So I just wanted to sort of offer up an expansion on what I was saying yesterday in regards to English football and how the footballing landscape and the calendar is going to change because of truncated seasons, people having to play less games in less time because of the effects of the World Cup of 2022 in Qatar being played in winter, shortened seasons, starting earlier, finishing later, all that sort of stuff. And it struck me when I was watching the Champions League game last night between RB Leipzig and Atletico Madrid that I think the Champions League and European football in general are going to stay with this system as it is for the foreseeable future. And again, once we get through that 3-year cycle of the World Cup and everyone having to play less games to fit it all in, you won't want to go back to it just because of complications. And mainly, I think it's going to be with this, the one-legged quarter-final. Don't think that UEFA won't think of a way to make money off it. Because if you think of how it's worked now, you've got the Champions League games in Portugal and you've got the Europa League games over in Germany. But think about how that could look in the future. Say next season, for instance, or not next season, but because they've got the finals are in. The finals in for the Champions League, I think in Istanbul, and I think the Europa League one's meant to be in Poland, in Gdansk, I think. Don't quote me on that. But the way that it's set up now, with these 4 standalone quarter-final games, UEFA will turn that into a money-making opportunity. They will get cities or countries to bid for quarter-final games, and you can either do it, progressively throughout the season. So, the quarter-final games, standalone in March, semi-final standalone one-legged ties in April, then the final in May/early June, depending on how the footballing calendar works out. But you get the gist of how things are going. And you can, and this is the thing, this is something that I think they do, again, based off what they've done now, is you can turn it into basically an end-of-season tournament. So once all the once the round of 16 games are on, then at the end of the season, you have your quarterfinals, your semi-finals, your final, all in one country. And UEFA will get countries to bid for them. So take, for example, this season. If you were to have it this season, but in a quote-unquote normal situation, you could have, let's say, the first Champions League. Basically, Britain would bid for the quarterfinals in this scenario. So the first one, which was Atalanta versus PSG, have that on Tuesday at, let's call it 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock English time, British time, GMT, whatever the thing is. Have that at 6 o'clock, first quarter-final, PSG Atalanta at Wembley. Second one, RB Leipzig versus Atletico Madrid, kick-off at 8:05 to get rid of things. You may have to sort of work it out for extra time, maybe spread out over the course of a couple of days, but you get where I'm going. RB Leipzig versus Atletico Madrid, have that at Hampden Park. The third quarter-final, which is Man City versus Lyon, have that at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. And then the final one, Bayern Munich versus Barcelona, have that at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. So basically you're having Britain, as in a sense, Britain and Ireland, slip of the tongue, Britain and Ireland hosting the quarterfinals. Then you take it another step further. You have Germany hosting the semi-finals. So RB Leipzig versus PSG, you play that at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. And the other semi-final, for the sake of argument, Bayern Munich versus Man City, you have that at the Allianz Arena in Munich. Or not, well, we're predetermined, but you can sort that out. And then the final at the Stade de France in Paris. You see where I'm going with this? So that's if you do it sort of over the space of the thing. And again, even if you want to do a tournament style, have Germany host it and do it much in the same way you have now. And again, don't think UEFA won't want to make money on this, because you can sell off the corporate, 50-50 split of the stadiums. Well, this being UEFA, 10%, 80% for the general public. You know what they do. So yeah, I think that's going to be a way going forward, because as much as I enjoy the away goals, you've seen fantastic games like Barcelona versus PSG a couple of years ago when it was like 7-6 or 6-5 on aggregate. That was fantastic. Away goals, then Roma Barcelona was another one that was basically decided on away goals. as much as I do enjoy that and it adds something to it, there has just been something that a little bit extra special and something enjoyable. Again, it's sort of like a World Cup, like a European Championship with these past couple of games. You saw, the late goals for PSG and RB Leipzig. If this was a normal situation, that wouldn't have necessarily meant anything because the losers, Atalanta and Atletico Madrid, would have had another chance in the second leg. But you get all this excitement in one go. And yeah, that's just what I think UEFA, much in the same way that I said the FA Cup and the League Cup are going to scrap replays, get all the things in one go to save time, save matches. You don't want to go back. You don't want to go back to it once something has been essentially established. I think UEFA are going to go exactly the same way with this. Do you agree with me? Let me know what you think.